guys, welcome to Better Bachelor. My name is Joker with a face for radio and a voice for print. You know, it's often been said if women didn't have double standards, they wouldn't have any standards at all. This is a perfect example of that type of situation. A wife is demanding pay for play with her trapped husband. And how is he trapped? Because he's a husband, because he's married. I see stories like this, and these are the kind of things that kind of drive me nuts. It just increases and increases the number of reasons why men just shouldn't get married. This is in Taiwan. They're having problems with depopulation, as is Australia, as is Europe, as is the West. In the United States and Canada and all the rest? What's the same? Feminism. Women getting these unrealistic standards, being told that they're brave and stunning and they deserve all the things. And then when they can't get it, they get mad and they decide, I'm better than this. And they don't find out until it's too late. The next generation is going to be amazing. These women that are growing up, these Gen Xers and the millennials, as they age into their senior years, and all they've got is a little bit of a bank account and retirement and their cats and their wine. And then they're going to be unhappy because they're single and no one's paying any attention to them. Well, this is where we are, and this is another guy that gets trapped up in this stuff. The reason why this particular thing bothers me so much is, men do have needs. Now, granted, most of the time we can take care of our things ourselves with a 5-knuckle shuffle and, spending some alone time. By the way, I still have a cold. That's why I'm not live streaming today, because I'm coughing so much. But anyway, imagine being trapped and then a woman just says no to you. See, when a woman cheats, we know how this goes. Women cheat, it's because the husband wasn't meeting her needs. Men cheat, it's because they're pigs and a-holes, right? That's how this goes. Well, a Taiwan wife charges too fat husband a fee for sleeping with him. Court grants him a divorce. Wife begins by rationing intimate moments, inflicting emotional harm, and then demands he pay to sleep with his own wife. This is after having 2 kids with the lady. Now, I want you to let this absorb into your heads. I know you guys know this stuff, but these kind of stories this is what we need to go forward with when women say, why don't men want to get married? Why don't men want to be responsible? Why don't men want to grow up? Why don't men want to take care of us? It's because of this. Once you get married, you're trapped. If she wants to get fat, you're done. If she wants to not do any household work, you're done. If she wants to spend too much on the credit cards, you're done. Because at any point you want to walk away, you've got to pay. You got to pay the exit fee, and then you still don't get any bedroom fund because she's gone, but now you're out half your crap. Now, I don't know how it is in Taiwan, but seeing as they're becoming westernized and they have the feminism over there as well, I can't see it being much difference. They say a husband in Taiwan filed for divorce because his wife, who opposed the split, kept demanding cash from him every time he wanted to sleep with her. The court granted the man, known by the pseudonym Hao, a divorce because his wife, Jian, I don't know how to pronounce Asian names, sorry, what's the X? Jian, refused to sleep with him, Taiwan television station SETN reported. Hao and Jian married in 2014 and had 2 kids. He claimed she rationed the bedroom to once a month in 2017 and then rejected him entirely in 2019, giving him no reason. He said Xuan told their relatives that he was too fat and incompetent. Hao filed for divorce in 2021, but Hyun promised to work on their relationship, so he withdrew the lawsuit and registered their property in her name. Well, that was a genius move, now wasn't it, buddy? Her complaining about him being too fat, how many times do husbands out there or guys with long-term girlfriends, how hard is it to have that conversation? Sweetheart, I love you, I care about you, but you're starting to gain weight and I'm losing some attraction to you. Oh, you're shallow, you're a pig, how dare you? You hurt her feelings, and now she spends the next 2 days giving you the silent treatment. And if you hold to that, then she's going to tell all her friends that you're mean to her, that you're too demanding. And then if she eventually leaves and you have to pay half, you were the bad guy for telling her she was too fat. But then if you get too fat and she decides she needs another guy because she's not attracted to you anymore, it's your fault. See, no matter what it is, if feminists get their way and they get everything they want, it's because they're empowered, they're strong, and they deserve it. If they don't get their way, it's because it's society, it's someone else's fault, it's never any accountability on their end. That way that they can be either the victors or perpetually spoiled where nothing is their fault. I can't believe he signed away his property. That's stupid. However, he said Juan used to harm him emotionally and began charging a fee of NT 500, which is $15 every time he wanted to sleep or even talk to her. I got to be honest with you, that's pretty cheap. You know what you should start calling her? A cheap. That's really what you just say. Okay, here's your $15, you cheap. Now get in the bedroom. That's what you should have done. I'm just saying. That's what I would have done. Howe said by the time he sued her again for divorce this year, they had not spoken to each other for 2 years, only communicating via message app when they had to. They tried marriage counseling without success. Oh, you mean did she text the marriage counselor, or did she actually talk to him once they were in marriage counseling? The judge granted Howe's request because the relationship was cold and difficult to fix. But Hyun did not want a divorce and appealed to a higher court where her plea was rejected. Why would she want to stay with him, to just torture him at this point? Similar cases have been reported in Taiwan. Well, but of course they were. This is what feminism does. It absolutely ruins everything. It is and it's the biggest scam to ever hit anything, because these women are going to grow up thinking everything's great until they're 35, and then they get fat, and then they vote Democrat. then they start screaming for more feminism, and that men are bad, and that's why they're single and alone with their cats and their wine. They say in 2014, a wife in Taiwan charged NT 2,000, which is US $60, to sleep with her husband, and also set a fee for chats and meals. She said she did so because the husband, a truck driver, made no financial contribution to the family. Their children followed suit and said their father must pay if he wanted a conversation with them. Can you imagine that as a father, where you want to just talk with your kids and the wife has poisoned them so much that they don't even want to talk with you, that they don't want to even deal with you? Can you imagine having that happen to your family? And then people tell guys like us that say, oh, I'm not going to get married, I'm not going to have a family. They tell us we don't know what we're missing out on. They tell us, look, you take Steven Crowder, you take some of these other conservatives that are like, oh, you don't know what you're missing on, and you're single, and your life will mean nothing. And then you turn around and ask them how things are going now after a divorce and the millions of dollars of losses and attorney's fees and paying, $100,000 a month to your ex just so you can see your kids. It's a whole different story then, but they never talk about that point. They never talk about that part. They only want to talk about the positives, never the negatives. And in many cases, the positives aren't good enough to risk the fallout of the negative. They just never seem to get around to that point, amazingly so, isn't it? They say the couple went to the police station and the husband agreed to give his family $20,000 a month, or US $600. The divorce rate in Taiwan was 0.218% last year, one of the highest in Asia. It's because feminism is inside Taiwan. And I think South Korea is the other place. What do they have going on in South Korea? Feminism. That's why the birth rate's low, why marriage rates are low. All it does is it tells women that men are bad, men hold them down, men are awful. And so, of course, women that believe this stuff are just going to use men or take advantage of them or hate them or ignore them or treat them poorly. And many times I've seen people talking about quote unquote men's communities, and they say we're just as bad as feminism. No, we're the reaction to it. That's where they get it all wrong. We're simply reacting, because if feminism evaporated tomorrow and we got rid of no-fault divorce, where a man could actually have a good shot at having a successful relationship, and if she decides to pack her bags and leave, then she gets nothing, because it's her choice and she's leaving. Now, granted, if a guy treats a woman poorly, she should be able to leave and be financially well off. But if she just decides, like, you know what, I'm going to go sleep with a dude down at the gym, or the milkman, as the old jokes were, the postman, and she decides to leave and she got nothing, the world would be a different place then, wouldn't it? It wouldn't be men that would be afraid of getting married. Most men would say, I'd give it a shot. If I didn't get punished so bad on the back end, I'd give it a shot. I'd like to have a family. While I think of this, and let me just jump over here to my Twitter account real quick, and let me go to my profile, because I posted this the other day. Men just want one thing, and it's disgusting. Everyday life was like for people living 50, 100 or more years ago. And this is a photo from 1959. What do you see? A couple of boys, a home-cooked dinner. It was a roast with potatoes and carrots, a smiling husband, a very feminine, beautiful wife. Likes. There's a lot of people that would like. Now, the original post, 201,000 likes for this. Because I remember these days. I was not a child in 1959, was closer to 1973. I remember my family being like this, although my mother and father weren't quite as attractive as this couple is. But the whole point is, this is what we lost because of feminism. When you could afford, this guy could be, I don't know, a plumber, or he could be an engineer, who knows? But you could afford a family of 4. You could have maybe a house that needed work. It was a little beat up, it was a little run down, but you could afford it. You could afford a new-ish car to get to work. This is the way it used to be. And there's 2 things that destroyed it. Us getting off the gold reserve, basically, with Nixon's crap. Of course, the Federal Reserve, but this, this was before the gold reserve went away. So that screwed families and feminism and the laws and the divorce laws and everything else. There's a whole lot of guys that would absolutely love this, but we can't anymore because of feminism. In cases where suing for divorce cites the reason as a conflict of personalities, the plaintiff needs to prove the conflict has been serious enough to impact his or her life, and that defendant was mainly responsible for it. I think that sounds reasonable. In a similar case, a Chinese couple shocked social media for going Dutch on everything, from furniture costs to side dishes with restaurant meals, in 2 decades of marriage. The husband sued his wife and asked her to pay him 110,000 yuan, or US $15,000 worth of bills he claimed she should have shared with him. His claim was dismissed by the court. This always seems to just go in one direction, which is it's proof that we are not the bad guys. We're a response to what society has done to us. I don't think many men go out there when they're a young person saying, I hate women. That they're no good. Because I've seen these on the street interviews where interviewers are walking around to, both men and women out at night, going to restaurants or clubs. And these interviewers go up to men and they say, do we need women? And the guys are like, yeah, they're beautiful, they're nice, they're sweet, they're mothers, that's where kids come from. And then they go up to these women and say, do we need men? No, women can do everything men can do. We don't need them. And we don't, blah. These women have poisoned the minds of themselves, ironically. And until all of that changes, marriage is a trap. That's all it is. You can call it many things, but until the laws change, it is a trap. And what do you do if she gains weight? You're screwed. If she wants to leave with the kids, you're screwed. If she cheats on you with some dude and wants to leave, you're screwed. In almost all cases, you're going to pay. It happens every single time. So what do? Men go their own way. Men walk away. Men decide it's not a great deal. Men decide not to have girlfriends that live with them, or wives, or in many cases, families. It's a direct reaction to what women are doing. And ironically, because we're not hitting birth rates, our government says, well, we'll just import a bunch of people. Do you think that they're going to be the nice, loving father or the nice, loving man that these women want? I don't think so. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think down below. Don't forget, if you like my content, jump over to betterbachelor.locals.com. Become a supporter today. I know I'm doing more news stories and other things, but I think you'd still like the community. Come on over, become a supporter. It's $5 a month, $50 for the year. I'd appreciate it, and we'll see you in the next one.